was gonna try and do a little update video here. I haven't done anything in a while and haven't really been able to record anything working on the car, or haven't taken the time actually. It's hard to do. It's been a time. We've had like one problem after another with the car. We had the braking issues, trying to go to the manual brakes that didn't work for the first two events. Third event at Charlotte, everything was working good, ran really good, was really competitive there. Car was well balanced. And then I went down to Savannah and I tried something I don't normally do. I turned all the shocks to 0 for the trip to see how the car would ride, and it rode really good on the interstate and on the bumps and stuff like that. No bottoming out problems. But I got to the event on Saturday. I got up in the morning, went to the event on Saturday, and went to go turn up my compression, and the compression knob wouldn't turn up very much at all, or at all. I would turn it like maybe 2 or 3 clicks, but it would like completely lock up. Like I couldn't turn it all. So I ran the whole day with no front compression in the car. So I maxed out my rebound, trying to get something out of it. So that was kind of a little bit of a wash. It was still, reasonably competitive. It was just really a lot of front body roll for sure in the car. So it was reacting really slowly and everything. And but anyway, I got home and took the wheel off, and I took a chance and put a pair of pliers on the knob and just barely turned it, and all of a sudden it got real loose. And then I turned a little bit more and I heard like a little clink, and I think that was the needle moving into the seat. So from what I understand, I talked to Viking the next day, and we both think that having it turn all the way down, the needle was wiggled and dropped and got itself out of position and stuff like that. So since then I found out that it's not really required to turn down your compression a whole lot. It doesn't affect the ride quality as much, at least for me. It's definitely stiffer with it turned up, but with the rebound turned all the way down, the ride quality is much better. It rides a lot smoother with that turned down and everything. You still get the body roll when you turn it sharp, but with the compression turned up, it responds, takes care of that. So I got that fixed, and I'm trying to think. I thought there was something else. No, I think that was it for that. And then we had Cherry Point weekend this past weekend. Went up there, everything was working, and was pretty competitive. Got within 3/10 of my competition, which is a really fast car, and getting closer to the really fast people and everything with it. But somebody mentioned something about seeing one of the wheels was moving a little too aggressively in one of the turns, and they were asking me if I felt it. I'm like, well, I've had people say something sort of about that in the past, but I couldn't really find anything. So I looked over, I didn't really see anything obvious on the car. So I drove it home, and usually if I'm in the right lane, I've got to turn the wheel to the left just a little bit. From the left lane, it drives fairly straight, and it's because I run equal caster. I don't split it for the taper on the road. But on the way back, it was complete opposite. Like the left lane, I was having to crank the wheel a lot more than usual, the opposite way. And then the other lane, it was driving pretty straight. I mean, no vibrations, no shaking in the steering wheel, none of that. So I was like, well, I don't know. It was weird. Like I said, it drove, just as smooth as it normally did. So I got home, and Belinda went to bed, and obviously I couldn't let it go. So I came out, jacked it up, took the wheels off, looked around, shook some stuff, and I just happened to look at I got roto joints on my front control arms, and I'll show you what I found. So there's the roto joint. Let's see if I can get in closer. It's really hard. there's a little ring right there. There's two rings in there. One's completely circular and the other one's a C-clip. And apparently the C-clip came out and then all the ring came out. So the Delrin on the inside of the rod end was coming out. So I think once I take everything apart, I'll see if it wiggles very much. I think that's probably what was causing it to move a little bit, was causing my alignment to be out a little bit while I was driving. So we're gonna take that out. I've got kind of an idea. They have a threaded side to it. I don't know why there's a C-clip on the other side. I'm gonna try and figure that out. If I really need that there, if I don't need that there. If I don't need that there, the plan will be to either get a larger, like grade 8 washer on that side, the same thickness as the C-clip, and the other spacer washer, whatever's in there, and then just weld the whole thing in there on the one side. Then use the threaded locking ring on the other side that has a little grub screw that holds it on. Use that on the other side to hold it all in there and not have to worry about the C-clip coming back out again, or the snap ring, I should say. I think it's just so much side force, and that just happened to be the same side that hit the when I first took the car off the road a few years ago for the paint. It was because of the pothole on the interstate, and I cracked the oil pan. That happened to be on that side, so I kind of wonder if it started then. I just never noticed it, or what. But I can't remember if I took it all the way apart post that or not when I painted it. I can't remember if I did that or not. But anyway, yeah. So we got a little bit to do. As far as that, skills are not very good. So, yeah, so I'm gonna take all that apart and figure out what's going on with the roto joint. And oh, that was the other thing that happened this weekend. I can't believe I forgot about this. The fuel line came off fuel. I have a stock LS1 fuel rail on it, and so I used the adapter for the AN line. And that adapter with the plastic piece on the inside came out, so I was like in the grid, like trying to get that back on. I finally got the clip back on. It was really difficult, and it never came back off again the whole trip. I've never had that happen before. So what I decided to do is go ahead and just, something I thought about before, is replacing the fuel rails with the aluminum, the billet aluminum ones, and then I can just screw the AN fitting directly to the rail and not have to worry about the plastic clip that holds it on the stock rail. And I'll just use some, they come with standard AN line. I'll use some PTFE line because I've had problems with that coming apart with ethanol and the fuels nowadays. So we'll do that. And then there was power steering fluid like all over the place. Even though I put a rag on it to try and absorb it up, there was just so much coming out. So I've decided, I found out that, I asked Turn 1, but apparently I found out on my own that you can get a fitting that presses in where the reservoir normally goes and just remove the reservoir and use an external reservoir that you can mount. So I've got some fittings coming, some line coming. Found the reservoir that will work with my car, had that coming, and so I'm going to have an external baffled reservoir now for it from Holly, so hopefully that will not overflow anymore. It has stuff in it to keep it from foaming and things like that, and it'll be away from the heat of the engine a little bit further, so it'll be directly on it, the vibration of the engine and stuff like that. And the stock 9802 LS1 pumps are known for that in any situation, so I'm going to be glad to finally get rid of that, get that ironed out. It's a little tricky to fit in there because I have the flip this around. Have the Mighty Mouse catch can right there, so I'm gonna have to either move that to the right or move it to the left, further outboard, one or the other. I'll figure out when I get the stuff. But there's the pump, and I'll have the line, you know, coming out of the bottom of it, coming out this way, and it'll probably loop around a little bit and then end up back at the pump just so it can flex a little bit with the engine moving. So we'll get that fixed. So that was a little bit of a problem. So yeah, had a time this year. Really, I'd say really Charlotte was the one event I didn't really have any issues. I'm not sure how much that front controlling was affecting me. It did get a little tight in some of the turns. The sweeper was definitely tight, and that's where he saw it. So I think that thing was pulling out too hard and was causing some drag or something like that, affecting the steering and everything. And then there was some wallums that I didn't love going through that it was definitely tight on there. I ironed some of that out with some rebound adjustment, and then softening the rear rebound helped a lot. So kind of experiment with some shock settings. I wasn't going to get them revalved when I leave in a couple weeks, but since I've got this other stuff going on, I'll let that go. And then we're also going to be kind of exciting. When I come back, I think the weekend after I come back, we're taking Belinda to the Evolution driving school. And we're going to see if we can get her to the next level in her driving. I think she's learned a lot. She has she says she has problems accepting too much information in a day. But we'll see how with these professional instructors what they can do as far as teaching her stuff. Having some better one-on-one and everything. I think that's kind of what she needs, is to take herself to the next point, because she's smooth. She doesn't hit very many cones. She doesn't really spin out too often. It's just trying to figure out how to get her just basically to the next level, to learn how to feel it, to push a little bit harder, because we know it's capable of going faster and everything. So yeah, that's going to be in Bristol, Tennessee. So we're going to trail the car, but it's going to be $700 to rent a truck and a trailer to bring the car up there, and that was going to be just too much money to do. So we're going to get a new set of tires for it, new set of RT660s, because those will handle the repeated runs a little bit better. And then we'll just trailer them. We'll put some new tires on our little trailer that we normally use, and we'll just take our time and drive up there, not be in a hurry, and just drive it up there, and change the tires when we get there, and change it back out when we come back, and just hope it doesn't break while we're there. That was the whole point of bringing the trailer, in case it breaks, because we're going to be pushing it pretty hard up there. But we'll just take our chances and kind of go from there. Yeah, so unfortunately we're going to miss an event here. We're going to miss a Darlington event. That's kind of a bummer. So then I'll have a Charleston event, and then another ZMAX event, and then one more event when I come back in November. I'll have it's either a Charleston or a Darlington event, something like that, and then my season will be over at that point for sure. I'm kind of counting it down now on when I'm going to start doing in the off season. Probably working on some of this body work. I've got some ideas on the front suspension, some more on the spindles. I've got those shortened spindles on there that do help the increment a little bit, but they do have some geometry issues when I turn it hard one direction or the other. So I've got some ideas to make a bracket on a stock spindle. So it's just a matter of whether it's going to fit in my wheel, because I've got the 2-inch extended control arm, so my tie rod sits like right in the middle of the wheel. So it's actually in the rim, inside the rim, whereas in a stock car like mine, it's usually sitting on the outside of it. So I got to make sure I have enough room to clear the barrel and stuff on that, and come up with some ideas on how to make that. Somebody else has done something similar, so I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what they did, see if I can get it to work on my car. My car's a little bit different because of the control arms than his, but we're gonna try it and see. But yeah, that's about it. I'll post up this video, then maybe I'll do a couple of old videos as I find some stuff, take some stuff apart on the car today. I think I should both get all this done today because some of the parts are coming in tomorrow for the power steering situation, so I'll start working on that and kind of go from there. So I'll keep it posted.